Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to our first YouTube channel. Well, first podcast, I should say. But we're on YouTube. We're also going to be on all streaming platforms. I'm Doc G.
I'm Crystal, and we are going to kick off our first episode talking about New Year.
New Year. So, New Year, same chaos. Sticking to resolutions or not.
I got something I got to say. Now, how do you feel about New Year's Eve?
I feel like New Year's Eve has really changed for me throughout the years. Like, when I was younger, it was all about turning up, having fun. Like, I used to go to church with my mom, but it was like forced. And then when I got to the age where I didn't have to go to church with my mom, I was outside. But now, like, I'm more into going to church, bringing the new year in, the right way, we would say. And then also being an entrepreneur and working the way that I work in the field, in the mental health field. New Year's is kind of like a stressful time a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to close out the year. So, like, we're doing all these things, and we have all these holidays. We have all these celebrations in December on top of trying to get the job done and start over the next year, with a new leaf. So,
Yeah.
it's stressful for the new year, but it's also a relief when you get into the new year. Like, okay, boom, now let's go ahead and, work on this year. Like, what's new?
Yeah. It's interesting because I find the New Year to be magical. And I know that might kind of sound corny, but like my two favorite holidays is Valentine's Day and actually New Year's Eve. There's something about the ball dropping that I typically cry on when I watch it. I know. I'm mad corny. I know, but it's like my truth.
Yeah.
I think it's like the change of the new beginning. But lately, I've been exhausted with, like you're talking about, with just going out of the year. And I'm not closing out accounts or anything, but there's an emotional toll and mental toll that I think I go on from November until the year is over. Because a lot of that is like family heavy, right? And celebration heavy and things to do. So I oftentimes find myself to be tired, but I love New Year's Eve and the celebration of it. And so how do you, or have you started doing any of your New Year resolutions yet?
So what's interesting is this year for me, typically I know what I want to do going into the new year prior to the new year. And I have some ideas of things that I wanted to do, but I didn't really plan out anything until actually January 2025. I feel like my new year's just now beginning.
I feel the same way.
Yeah, and I say that because once January hit, I went on trip after trip after trip, did speaking engagements, so I wasn't really present at work. I was absent from work, and I'm just now getting back into the groove of being at work. So, like, personally, I have made goals. Like, one of my goals, I want to be a better brother, so I want to, call my brothers more often, talk to them about whatever it is. Then I have work-related goals. I have a goal to, get closer to God and, do more things in church. So I've been working on my siblings as well as, like, getting closer to God. I just ordered a new Bible, the Spiral Bible. So I got that from one of my friends on Instagram. He had sent me the link. So bought that. I sent it to you. You got your Bible,
I
right?
knew you couldn't wait to say that you were the reason why I had the Bible.
I'm
yes,
bringing
I got
people
it.
closer
But
to God.
did you start it though?
Did I start what?
The Spiral Bible?
No, I haven't been home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, actually, I plan to start this week. So.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. I started mine today, so I'm ahead of you.
But that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
It's not a race though.
But well,
I hope that you remember the content.
No, I think those are all good things. Like I have not started my New Year planning yet.
Yeah.
Last year, I'd started to do it in the beginning of January, like the first couple of months or the first couple of days in the year. I was at home planning, and it took me maybe 3 days to actually plan the year out and do spreadsheets and all that shit. And I didn't do any of that this year.
Yeah.
I moved to Richmond in November, and I feel like I've been tired ever since I got here, or there's just been stuff going on.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting to a place where I think that I'm ready. But here's what I learned about myself, that
Tell me about it.
I think that I think next year I'm going to plan my new year in September.
Okay.
And I'm going to allow December and January to be what they should be, hibernation times and times to reset.
I like that.
And I'll plan, like, I feel like as a business owner, you know, you're encouraged to plan your quarters in advance.
Right.
I don't know why I don't actually apply that to my personal life. I know my energy goes down in December. I'm tired. September, I still got energy from the summer. Why not think about what I want to create for next year?
Yeah. No, I think that's a good idea. And I mean, if it changes, you can always adjust.
Exactly.
You know, I also think though too, like sometimes there's a lot of pressure at the end of the year to have New Year goals.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like it's okay to be comfortable with where you at. Like you don't necessarily have to want to achieve anything yet. You know, you could probably wait to second quarter or third quarter to start planning like, okay, this is what I want to now work on throughout the remaining of this year. So I think that people need to, you know, be okay and comfortable with not starting in January.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's just like people that want to lose weight. They wait until January every year. The gyms is packed every year. Everybody has their membership.
Yeah.
By the time March come, a bunch of people fell off.
That's true.
You know, and it's because we're not pacing ourselves into these goals. We're jumping into it because we see what everybody else is doing.
That's a good point. Actually, I recently, the pastor of the church that I attended on Sunday mentioned this idea called Quitter's Day. I've never heard of it before. Have you heard of it before?
No, I haven't heard of it.
So there's this like research study that shows that people typically quit their New Year's resolution by January 10th. That's as far as it goes. 10 days
10
in.
days is crazy.
And you done. They go back and they never go back to what they said they were going to do. Like,
I can see that happening if you are inconsistent starting out the gate, because they say, you know, it takes 30 days to create a habit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you 10 days inconsistent, you've been consistent 2 days out of that 10 days, I mean, I could see you falling off.
But I also think it's the amount of shit that you add. Like, I feel like I added, last year, I had a whole spreadsheet of things that I wanted to do. And I really thought that I could plan this out to the T. It didn't, I was done by January 10th. I thought I was going to be fluent in Spanish by the end of the year. You know I can't speak. I'd be like, hola, that's it. That's all I got.
Right.
So I know that for me, if it's too many things, I just can't do it.
Yeah. And yeah, that just goes back to like really pacing yourself.
Yeah.
Like what's most important? We have to create like a priority list. Like this is my priority. Like today, I submitted a new program for my company, right? So that was something that I knew I wanted to do. I didn't quite know which program I wanted to do, and I solidified that within January. However, once I solidified it in my head, I'm like, okay, well, I already know what to do to get the paperwork in. I already have everything organized. Let me just go ahead and submit it. Let me not waste time on this. So this is one thing off my bucket list. And because there's a lot more to come with just submitting for a program. Like I have to continue, like I got to develop what that program looks like. I have to like implement the policies and teach the staff, et cetera. So, you know, starting early so that my goal is by the end of third quarter, I'm fluently running, you know, and I think that it's just important to just tackle those goals one by one and, you know, whatever feels most important to you, do that first and then move on to the next. Because who are we racing with?
Our own selves sometimes. Sometimes. It depends on the mindset, though.
Yeah. No, because people overthink.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you racing with your overthinking thoughts, right? You racing with what you see on social media or what you may hear from everybody
But what about
else.
just the idea that I'm not where I feel like I should be? Like, what do you think barriers are that gets in the way of people actually doing these goals? Like, did you plan to launch the program in this year, or did you think about it last year but launched it this year, or started it this year?
So the initial thought started last year, probably around like May, April. However, I added something else beforehand, so the alignment wasn't right last year, but it still was something that I knew I was gonna do. for me, when I plan out goals, especially if it's like work related, I try to make sure it aligns with what I'm doing and it makes sense for the development and growth of my company. And I try to implement that in personal life too. Like whatever it is that I personally want to do, I want to make sure it aligns with my brand and who I am. Just like I recently started DJing. Now, people know I'm not no DJ. Well, let me not start. I haven't started DJing. I just started learning how to DJ, right? And I'm not trying to be this big time DJ. I mean, I would love to be like Shaq and go overseas
And DJ.
And DJ. Shaq is like one of my favorite entrepreneurs because he does, like, if you ever follow Shaq and everything that he does, like, I'm Shaq. Like,
You the Shaq
I'm
of Richmond?
Shaq's little son.
Oh God.
I'm not quite his height, but I'm close enough.
How tall is he? You know?
Shaq probably like 6'9",
You
7.
close.
Is he 7 foot?
I don't know nothing about
know.
him.
I don't know, but
You close enough.
close enough. Close enough. Where was I going?
You was talking about the fact that you DJ.
Oh yeah. So for me, that was me developing another hobby. One of my goals for 2025 was to make sure that I have other hobbies outside of like, oh, I'm going to the bar or I'm going out to eat or I'm just gonna take a trip. Like, what's a hobby that I can do that's cost efficient or may not cost any money at all, that I can have fun and still relates to things that I love to do already.
Yeah.
Right. So like I enjoy listening to music. I'm not a big TV person unless I really like a show. So listening to music, DJing, that's like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
For me, and I have a lot of friends that's also into music too. So it's just something for me to kind of like explore, have fun with, chill with my friends, and like we just kick it. Now I'm the house DJ. So when we go on trips, I'm bringing my DJ equipment. I got my little DJ bag, all of that.
Yeah.
So we ain't got to worry about hiring no DJs now. We just saved some money throughout the year in the front
Because you're gonna be
because
DJ.
I'm the house DJ.
So what barriers do you feel like gets in people's way though? When they have those goals, but they don't go after them.
I think it's really like confidence. It's a self-confidence. People don't believe in themselves.
Do you think that fear and self-confidence can be mistaken?
Fear and self-confidence, can it be
A lack
mistaken?
of self-confidence.
Fear and a lack of self-confidence. I think they are two different things that can coexist. So to go back and answer your question, I think it's lack of confidence, but I also think it could be fear. It could be either one, or it could be a combination of both. Because some people just are fear of the unknown of how is this gonna work for me, or like, how am I gonna do this?
Yeah.
And then some people just are not confident within themselves to be able to produce what they're trying to produce.
Yeah. I'm not sure what I feel like. I don't know what my thing is. I would have to explore. I know that a lack of intentionality, a lack of planning will get in the way of me completing something. Like if I'm not like, okay, I need to get up at this time, I need to do this thing, Yeah. And so at one point I wanted to get into the practice of planning my weeks. So I planned this quarter and I was just waking up, letting things do how it do. If I had a meeting on the calendar, but I said to someone yesterday that I want to experience how sweet life can be if I didn't have so much fear. Like how sweet could it be if I went after everything I desired or I thought about?
Sorry about that.
You need some water?
I need a look. Nah, I'm good.
It's over there.
Well, my water. I'll get it in a second. Anyways,
The theatrics of the what in the fucking water is crazy.
nah. So look, no. So you said, going back to what you said.
Yeah, it's fair for me.
Fair. Yeah.
And so I'm
But have you identified where that stems from?
yeah, but it's different for each thing. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I for a while now, people have been like saying, first of all, what's really big for me right now is not saying yes to things just because I'm asked to do it.
Okay.
And so really trying to think about what's in alignment to my goal. Sometimes things are really shiny and beautiful and I can get a lot of money from it, but it will take away from my creativity from whatever I should be doing.
Yeah.
And oftentimes I felt like God has called me to do this one thing, or not just one thing, but God has called me to do something. I've had a desire to start this app that I'm developing. I mean, it didn't start as an app; it started as an idea. But that idea came to me 8 years ago, almost. I might be off on my numbers. Maybe it's 4 years.
Ooh, big difference. Okay.
But I had the thought, right? But I would get a job that paid me well.
Yeah.
I would get a contract that was attractive, and I would be doing all this work. And then I don't have as much creativity because I'm also a parent, and that's a whole nother conversation, but it can take a lot of attention from you.
Yeah.
And so what I realize is I cannot say yes to things even if they feel good in the moment, because it can take away from where I need to be. And a lot of times I feel like that's what it was. Oh, you want to pay me what? Sure. Now I'm not working on my branding for the company.
Yeah.
Now I'm not working on the stuff. So it's really, really about choosing what's right, not what's good.
Despite rising societal stressors, it's possible to take care of your well-being. Levels Mental Health provides compassionate care for those experiencing mental health challenges. Our holistic approach addresses anxiety, depression, behavior issues, and trauma, ensuring individuals feel understood. It's time for accessible mental health services for all. Visit levelsmentalhealth.com to learn more, schedule a consultation, or donate to expand outreach and support our community.
Yeah. I think also, though, too, is when we develop these goals, sometimes we need support. And a lot of times we like to take control of everything because it's our goals, right? And it's like, we have this vision. This is how we see it. We're going to control it. So I'm going to be hands-on with every single last thing. But sometimes we got to be comfortable with delegating. And, finding that person that we do trust to delegate whatever task it is that we can delegate to, because that can help us get to our goals. Because one thing that I know for sure is that some things I may have did by myself, but the massive things that I've done in life, there was somebody or some people along the way that's helped me get to where I'm at. So, like, even as we develop our New Year goals in 2025, like, we have to think about, like, what do that support system look like for us, and what are the key players that we need in place as we strive towards whatever goals that we have for ourselves, because it's no way that you're going to be able to do everything by yourself. You have a goal of losing weight. You're not doing that by yourself. 9 out of 10, you either trying to get a gym partner, or you paying for a trainer,
Or you looking on TikTok
yeah,
and
like,
figure out what to do.
There's outlets and different people that you're trying to connect with to lose that weight. So
I think that's hard though sometimes to find the right support when everyone is going after the goals. This may be wrong, but oftentimes I feel like depending on what you need, the type of support you need will have to be doing less than what you're doing. And so in order to have the capacity to support you, not all the time. Now, I'm not saying all the time.
No, I'm gonna let you finish your thought. I have a rebuttal, but go ahead, finish your thought.
But I'm just saying that they can't. They have to. I'm not gonna say less than, because that might sound bad. But they have to actually have the capacity to do it.
Yeah, capacity. Yep. But someone said the other day, I might not say it completely how they said it, but along the lines that if you need something that's done, if you're a busy person and you need something that's done, ask somebody else that's busy, because they know how to manage their time like you. Mm-hmm. Don't, like, when you ask somebody that's not used to being that busy, they might not produce how you want them to
but
produce.
They might be the person that you're delegating to. You feel me? Like, the person that's busy like you may tell you how to do it, But if you need to delegate to somebody, most of the time it's somebody not as busy as you. So you would need someone that has the capacity to actually do it. And so it's like, how should people look for different supports that's going to help them achieve their goals for the new year?
Yeah, I feel like that's all a conversation. Like, if I needed help on whatever project that I'm trying to do and I come to you and ask you for help, I can ask you like, hey, do you have the capacity to do this? You can tell me yes or no. If you tell me no, then I know like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to X you out of the potential person that could have been my support, and now I'm going to look elsewhere. But if you're not having that open communication and dialogue with somebody and letting them know like, hey, this is what I need, can you help? Can you produce? Is this something that you can manage your time for?
I'm just curious if it's realistic for people. Like, I don't know. It just, sometimes I feel like everybody's tired. Like, you own businesses. So you could hire people to support your goals, right? So, like, what about those people that don't own businesses?
Right.
And need people to, would really like to implement what you're saying? Do you think, like, how would they go about that?
It's all about networking.
Yeah.
So I went to a networking event. Actually, today I went to a networking event. So I'm part of the Chamber, RBA. So this was it was my second event I went to. The first one was more like a social, but this was like an actual business, small roundtable talk. And there was about like 10 different business professionals in there. I was the only African-American in there, all older, Caucasian, and I think one of them was Indian individuals, but, very successful business owners in Richmond. And, it was a really great opportunity, one, for me to connect with other business owners, but also me being the youngest person there, the blackest person there, the only black person there, as well as, having my doctorate, being able to have multiple businesses, speak about what I'm doing. Like, I was able to leave an impact in that room for other black professionals that may go to another small roundtable talk, And I think that, like, for me, what I gained from that experience is that I gained contacts as well as I gained opportunities to meet people for lunch and get other contacts from one individual. She gave me a contact for this lady who's a mental health advocate, and she was saying, like, she's really big on housing and substance use, et cetera. Like, you can tell her that I referred you. So just making that connection and being in the rooms that you're supposed to be in and really just selling yourself. Sometimes you may not feel comfortable with communicating. Sometimes you may just want to go in the room just to be there and observe to see how you need to navigate. But that next time you step in that room, now because you went the first time and you observe, you should be able to produce, because it's hard to do a research project, right, and explain a research, but it's easy. It should be easy to talk about yourself and talking about what you're doing. And if you find that it's hard, then you may not be doing as much as you think that you're doing.
And I think that that's a good point, right? That support, what I'm also picking up from what you're saying is that support can look different. It doesn't have to be somebody physically doing something for you. It can be somebody giving you a tip on how to do it more efficiently, how to do it in a timely way. It can be, someone pointing you to a resource. I think for me, I just be wanting people to do things for me because I be tired. But that brings me to like the 8 dimensions of wellness, right? When we think about how those are interconnected, and you explain 8 dimensions of wellness very well. Do you want to explain it for people that may not know what it is?
Oh, well, you could go ahead. I'll add in. You brought it up.
All right,
I actually explained the self-love.
That's
Wellness
the
and
same
self-love.
thing. We talked about the 8 dimensions at the class, and you explained it.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, fill in, because I know you will anyway if you think I'm wrong. So the 8 dimensions of wellness, it is this research that was done that shows that we have these 8 dimensions within our life, and these 8 dimensions are interconnected. And the dimensions, I may not get them all because I have not written them down, but it's financial, spiritual, community, environment,
home maintenance,
physical,
work environment,
work balance, harmony,
Yeah.
or something like that. We got 6.
We said family.
No, but emotional.
And
And
relationships.
then whatever. So y'all can research it. It's online. So so it's 8.
We'll give y'all the information.
We'll put it. I should have said that. We'll put the link in the bottom of the thing. It's our first podcast, y'all. Give us some grace. So the 8 dimensions of wellness, and it talks about how these things are interconnected. And I said that to say that when I think about work-life harmony, it makes me, and I mentioned I'm tired, it makes me just remember that I need to go back to the gym, which I did just start going on Monday. Yesterday. I thought I did something, but I just started on Monday. And so it just tells me that I do have to go to the gym. I do need to make sure I'm eating, I'm drinking my water, I'm taking my vitamins, and I'm doing my routines, because that's going to impact how I show up in my community and my work.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So how would you like to wrap it up? What do you want to tell the people?
I think so. New Year, it's 2025. And one thing I want to say to people is, look, if you don't feel like you have any desire to have new goals, that's okay. I think that sometimes we get wrapped around societal norms, what people may consider a societal norm, and then we feel like, oh, okay, we need to move like this, or we need to make sure that we plan in this way. And sometimes you could have crushed all your goals, and now you want to relax and chill, and that's okay to relax and chill, because we all do need that time to refocus. I feel like January is a great time to start your New Year planning. Before January is a great time to start it, and even in the middle of the year is a great time. It never stops. Goals always come up for me. I always have a new idea. I'm like the king of trying something. I started during COVID. I was making T-shirts. I remember at one point I was selling plates.
Wait, plates like that you eat on?
Dinner plates, yeah. People were smacking my food down. Like,
oh, you mean selling dinner plates? Oh, I thought you meant you made plates to sell.
Oh, no.
That's why I was like, dang, that's crazy.
Kind of lit, though. I might get into that.
That's funny. What else you do?
What else I did? So, T-shirts, I made the plates. I started a magazine company. Mm-hmm. I did 2 issues. I was just doing stuff. One, because I like to be creative, and I feel like sometimes, working in the mental health field, we're so client-centered, client-focused, and, focusing about all these other policy issues that we may be experiencing, that sometimes you may lose out on fun, and those things were fun to me. It didn't feel like work. Like I was excited to stay up to 2:00 to be writing an article or thinking about what this design is going to look like, or like thinking about, how this event is going to look. Those things didn't stress me out, versus like staying up at night and having to write an assessment or like, write some policies. Those things would stress me out a little bit. But yeah, I think, try things. It's okay to fail. It's okay to do good for a few months or a year and then don't do good. As long as you have your mind, you can continue to think, you can continue to create new goals, and you can continue to be as great as you want to be. And I think that, just have that mindset. Like, I can think, I'm living, I'm breathing, I can walk, I got my hands, I can make decisions, and I'm going to just go out there and do whatever it is that I want to do.
Yeah.
Somebody going to follow. And even if it's one person, somebody's going to follow.
That's true. I think I would say, I would agree. Just figure out what works for you. But don't figure out what works for you and really get clear on what season you are in. If it's a season that you feel like you should be content, do that. If it's a season where you feel like you're being pulled to do more, do that. And also, like, work through what your barriers are. There's this exercise that people can do if they are trying to discover the root of a thing. And I don't know the proper term of it. You can find it in the Feeling Good handbook, but I'm going to call it the why exercise. And we'll drop the link in below. See, I didn't say Google it this time, so I'm learning. And so it's this why exercise, right, where you could start off by saying, why you are not doing something. And then, like, for example, I can say, I have been scared to launch my podcast, not my podcast, but my app, because I don't feel like I'm qualified to do all the things.
Yeah.
And then I would ask myself, why? You're writing this down. And then I would ask myself why. And I would answer what comes up for that. And then I would ask myself, why does that matter? And I would answer what comes up for that. And if you do that about 3 or 4 times, you typically will get to the root of why your fear or whatever that negative emotion is there. So
Yeah.
I would say that would be my thing for people to practice, to know what the barriers are and then create systems around that.
Yeah. I also want to say, celebrate your small wins. So when you do create these goals, a lot of times we're ready for that goal to be accomplished, right? So say if you want to open an LLC. Now, certain states, let me use a different example. Say you want to lose 15 pounds, right? And you lost 5 pounds within 2 weeks. Celebrate yourself in those 2 weeks. Like, okay, I lost 5 pounds. I'm doing good. Like, I'm going to do something good for myself, or I'm at least speak life into myself, right? And then, boom, the next week, you may lose only 1 more pound, but guess what? That's 1 more pound away from your goal. So I'm 6 pounds now. I only got a couple more pounds left, and just continue to encourage yourself that way, because a lot of times there's not going to be somebody there to celebrate you. Some moments is just going to be a self-celebratory moment. So practice that. I also wanted to share too. So randomly, not randomly. So one of my colleagues, she had asked me, did I have like a paper on something? She's in school. So I was looking through all my homework assignments. So I found this homework assignment from when I was in my last semester. And I was skimming through it just to see if it was like meeting the requirements for her assignment. Because, we'd be cheating a little bit. So
Oh, God.
Look, if you didn't cheat a little bit in school, you ain't trying. But what was funny, so I started my company Levels in 2020, but I actually started the paperwork process in 2017. I started the paperwork process, but it wasn't approved until 2020. But in the paper that I had wrote an insert on there like, oh yeah, I'm about to graduate. Like when I graduate, I want to be, by August of 2016, I'm gonna be a resident for LPC. I'm gonna do my CSAT, and then I'm gonna open up a company. And I'm like, oh damn, I really did all of that.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
It was a good moment. But
yeah,
it was dope.
I like that too, though. Maybe another thing we can tell people how the fuck to do this is to write little notes to themselves.
Write notes to yourself, yeah, and then
And
go
so you can
reflect.
see it, yeah. I like that, right? You can go back and say, oh, I did this.
Yeah.
I love that. See, all right, well.
It's been great. It's been great. This is our first podcast. I hope y'all, tune in. Of course, we had to start out. It's the new year, so we had to give y'all a little bit something about the new year. New year, same chaos, sticking to resolutions or not, right? Y'all gonna stick to them or y'all not? Either way, just make sure y'all tune in. I'm Doc G.
I'm Crystal. It was a good time.
It was a good time.
All
Peace
right.
out.